Indigenous influencers navigate gendered scrutiny, also the added layers of colonial violence, racialized expectations, and community accountability online. The way anti-fan cultures engage with them, whether through lateral violence, necessary critique, or outright harassment, seems tied to the structural inequities they already face. However, Indigenous conflict online reveals how social media outrage plays out within and outside of Indigenous communities. When is internet justice warranted? When do accountability and a spectacle get blurred online? When does collective calling out become justified? When does it tip into pure entertainment or even cruelty? With Indigenous influencers, the stakes feel even more complicated because there's a mix of legitimate critique, colonial scrutiny, and lateral violence happening all at once. And then, of course, there are people who just enjoy dogpiling, regardless of context. Womblands refers to a series of 2023 videos posted by Chelsea Hart on the app TikTok. They allege the Navajo TikTok user Modern Warrior, Lance DeSosi, engaged in sexual misconduct by having unprotected intercourse while dishonestly claiming to be exclusive during their long-distance relationship. The figures at the core of this conflict were influencers known for spreading social justice rhetoric and political discourse on TikTok, and Chelsea Hart and Lance DeSosi had both amassed millions of followers at the time of the conflict. Chelsea Hart stated that Modern Warrior had engaged in unprotected sex with the explicit agreement that they were exclusive, while also participating in unprotected sex with other individuals. In their video, they referred to discomfort in their womb, attributing it to Lance's actions. This specific video became a focal point for an uptick in memes and skits on TikTok called the Womblands memes. Because of the politics of feminism and feminist critique engaged as a result of this conflict, the identities of those embroiled in the discourse and aftermath of Womblands became a contentious battleground for the politics of identity and colonialism in America and the UK. Crystal Abidin is a professor of Internet Studies at Curtin University. Her book, Internet Celebrity: Understanding Fame Online, provides comprehensive methodological framing from an anthropological perspective about Internet celebrities and celebrity culture online. Her text analyzes Internet celebrity with specificity in an attempt to categorize and assess different forms of Internet celebrity culture for methodological research analysis. One particular Internet celebrity she studies is the phenomenon of eyewitness viral stars as a product of traditional and digital media coverage. So she does this interesting comparison of broadcast media and shows how media celebrity isn't a new phenomenon. It's a continuation of a culture of media obsession and media celebrity culture. She argues that while internet celebrity is often framed as spontaneous and democratic as a phenomenon, it is in fact shaped by legacy media practices that exploit viral figures for profit, often at the expense of Black people, women, children, or low income individuals. When this culture of media spectatorship met the internet, different types of internet celebrity emerged in interactions with traditional media sources like news, radio, and daytime television. One category is eyewitness viral stars. This category of internet celebrity includes individuals who achieve brief internet fame after their news interviews go viral. These figures are often people of color from low-income backgrounds, whose media portrayals rely on stereotypes that make their stories simultaneously humorous and pitiable by middle-class and upper-class audiences. News organizations benefit from the virality of these figures while giving little consideration to their long-term well-being. Although some viral stars attempt to monetize their fame, Most do not receive financial returns from the media cycle that exploits their image and have their image exploited. Racial and class dynamics often result in the commodification of Black communities and low income communities in participatory media. One form of meme personality is meme personae. Some individuals, like Success Kid or Sammy Griner, use their meme fame selectively. Initially, his parents avoided publicizing his meme identity, but they later leveraged some of his virality to fundraise for his father's kidney transplant. Another form of meme personality is meme celebrities. Other meme celebrities, like Grumpy Cat, turn their meme fame into a long term, profitable business through social media management, licensing, merchandise, and media deals. Both meme personae and meme celebrity reference individuals who interact with their viral sensation with some control over how their image becomes monetized. However, there is also the category of unwilling memes. Some individuals become internet famous against their will. Taiwanese model Heidi Ye suffered reputational damage after an altered image spread false narratives, demonstrating how memes can lead to unintended and harmful consequences. The Heidi Ye meme situation stemmed from a staged advertisement featuring the Taiwanese model posing as a mother with an attractive husband and three children who had digitally altered faces to appear less conventionally attractive. The ad, originally for a plastic surgery clinic, was later misused online with captions falsely claiming Ye had sued her husband for discovering their children's real appearance post surgery. This misinformation spread widely, becoming a meme and damaging Ye's career, as potential employers believed she had undergone plastic surgery and had been involved in a lawsuit. Ye later spoke out about the impact of the viral meme, highlighting the real world consequences of internet misinformation and image misuse. Caroline Calloway is a social media personality known for her tumultuous career as a influencer, writer, and internet figure. She first gained attention in the mid 2010s through Instagram, where she shared aspirational posts about her life as an American student at the University of Cambridge in the UK, accompanied by long, diary like captions. Her online persona captivated the devoted following that she built her influence upon, but as her career progressed, she became embroiled in controversy. One of the most significant turning points in Calloway's public perception came in 2019 when her former friend and collaborator, Natalie Beach, wrote a viral essay for The Cut. Beach claimed that she had ghostwritten much of Calloway's early Instagram captions and had been involved in the writing of Calloway's book proposal. The book deal, worth a reported $500,000, ultimately fell apart, and Calloway failed to deliver a manuscript. Calloway attempted to pivot her career by hosting self branded creativity workshops, which were criticized for being unorganized and overpriced. She was compared to Fire Festival for selling an experience that did not line up to expectations. Attendees received little more than generic advice and flower crowns. This cemented her reputation as someone who overpromises and underdelivers. Over time, Calloway became a frequent target of anti-fan communities, particularly on forums like Get Off My Internets and the subreddit Small Beans Snark. These communities dissected her behavior, questioned her authenticity, and dug into her personal life, even researching property records and legal findings to challenge her claims about wealth and status. Dr. Brooke Aaron Duffy, an associate professor of communications at Cornell University, appeared on the Endless Scroll podcast and discussed the controversy. Duffy argued that Calloway's situation should be considered within broader critiques of influencer culture. She argues that the scrutiny Calloway faces is part of a larger pattern of displaced feminist rage, where frustrations about beauty standards, labor, and gender roles are projected onto female influencers. She also highlights how anti fan communities, while sometimes exposing real issues, often engage in horizontal misogyny, women intensely policing other women's behavior under the guise of criticism. The Caroline Calloway saga reflects broader conversations about internet celebrity, authenticity, and the labor of self branding. It also reveals the gendered nature of online criticism, where women, especially influencers, are often scrutinized in ways that reinforce traditional expectations about femininity and success. Dr. Duffy researched the rise of anti fandom communities and discusses how platforms like Get Off My Internets serve as spaces where participants critically engage with influencers, often scrutinizing their authenticity and perceived duplicity. Duffy emphasizes that these critiques frequently target female influencers, focusing on aspects of their careers, relationships, and appearances. She warns that while these communities can offer a sense of connection among participants, they also perpetuate gendered norms by policing women's self presentations online. However, Dr. Duffy also challenges the idea that influencer work is frivolous, emphasizing the extensive effort that is involved in content creation, brand management, and audience engagement, and brings in a more traditional capitalist analysis to talk about the forms of labor that are becoming invisibilized in the home amongst women and have more time to spend with themselves at home, even on the so called haters or snark side. Duffy discusses Get Off My Internets as a precursor to contemporary snark forums and describes anti fan communities as more than just haters. They're deeply invested in scrutinizing influencers, often conducting invasive research into their personal lives. She highlights the gendered nature of these critiques, where influencers, predominantly women, are labeled as lazy or fake, echoing historical anxieties around women's self presentation. The discussion connects these patterns to broader and cultural policing of femininity, noting that while anti fan communities sometimes claim to challenge unrealistic beauty standards, they also reinforce them through surveillance and judgment. Though some forums enforce ethical guidelines, the subjects of this scrutiny often experience it as a form of gendered hostility rather than mere commentary. There are many layers of identity coding the reading of the Womblands memes. The first is that the influencers at the core of the conflict are all intentional meme celebrities. They use their influence on TikTok to monetize. Monetization is their intent to turn their meme fame, even if that meme fame is based on social justice critique, into a long term profitable business through social media management, licensing, merchandise, and media deals. We can see this intent through Tososi's actions. His accusers accuse him of claiming to be exclusively with them in a romantic relationship, and in turn receiving gifts in the form of money from the women he interacted with. Lance did, in some ways, engage in the sex trade. He sold himself to the women he interacted with online through his presentation of himself as a warrior like native activist figure, which those women then in turn fetishized. Sosi was driven from TikTok following the Moonlands controversy. However, he did reappear on OnlyFans, again sexualizing the image of himself as a warrior like native man for monetary gain. The Womblands memes were dismissive to Chelsea Hart's claims about Tisosi, though disclosure is an important part of consent and played a role in the hurt that occurred. The audio from Hart's testimony was remixed and went viral across TikTok, while people on all sides of TikTok joined in to make fun at Hart's expense. Indigenous TikTok took particular interest in the sound and remixed the song frequently for mutual enjoyment, What is troubling, however, is that sexual abuse and rape, a word used by Hart, was overlooked, if not condoned, through the spread of Hart's testimony as a comedy meme. This highlights the initial intent of Hart's video, likely to self empower after experiencing intimate partner violence and to take control as meme celebrity. However, there's a misplaced rage on an unwilling meme, which does bring up issues of consent and bodily sovereignty. In an effort to protect a masculine archetype that has been important to Indigenous peoples and settler communities alike, the stoic native warrior, Indigenous people downplayed rape culture. This doesn't just have an impact on the masculinist culture of Indigenous communities, it also impacts how our movements are read. Conservative news junkets with a vested interest in admonishing the rhetoric of modern warrior, who started many of his videos with the greeting, "Hey, colonizer," used this reaction from Indigenous TikTok as an example of the supposed irony of Indigenous resistance today. The intersection between TikTok virality and the unique TikTok community known as Indigenous TikTok led to conflict and political discourse focused on the identities of the claimant, the accused, and the other Indigenous TikTok influencers who were impacted in the fallout. However, the focus of these conversations was often on the relationship between Indigenous men and power, and Indigenous men's relationship to white women and Indigenous women, respectively. Within this discourse, a community of Indigenous trans, non binary, and queer creators who had long been critiquing gender differentiation within their communities was erased. Societies didn't seem to care when Indigenous women are harmed. And this is because this is what societies expect of Indigenous women. Even societies that condone the silence about violence amongst Indigenous communities for the good of resistance. To further complicate matters, Hart directly named several Indigenous women who continue to support Modern Warrior. This resulted in the online harassment of these women, one of which was named by mistake, an act described as racism by Indigenous TikTok. Chelsea Hart may be a victim, but in their desire to use their internet celebrity to maintain their power, they utilized a platform to criminalize Native women. The women who were harassed because of Hart's claims were also unwilling memes. While hurt between men and women is certainly at the center of this conflict, the relationships between white women and Indigenous women also proved a complex dynamic. Notably, Indigenous women have long spoken out about the forms of violence that are normalized within their communities, and far too often it is not until white women speak out that justice and healing is sought. This relates back to Crystal Abidin's analysis of weaponized micro-celebrity and media sensationalism. Traditional media often attention hacks micro-celebrities by amplifying controversies, distorting context, and using them as placeholders for social debates. This cycle is now being played out on a more rapid cycle through digital media channels such as TikTok.